Do these 3 things before your life falls apart. Now, I want you to know that this video isn't coming from a place of preaching or acting like I've worked life out and I understand everything completely. But where it does come from is a place of experience, which allows me to give back and to give insight into how I feel on certain things. And my aim is that if I can help someone younger, or even help someone who hasn't come to this realization yet and is a similar age to me, then that's a win. Especially if I can help someone younger get ahead of the game. So I won't waffle on too long. Let's just get into these things. I have got a few notes below, so if you see me looking down, I'm just keeping it natural. Now, number 1 for me is cutting out all substances. And when I say substances, I'm talking about weed, nicotine, alcohol, mainly. Now, of course, there are some other ones, but I'm not going to talk on them. I think if you're doing them, then you know it's not good. Whereas with these ones, they're a bit more commonplace, and you can easily get caught up thinking it's okay when it's not. And I speak from experience on all of these. So let's start with the first one, weed. I'm not going to go massively in depth, but it makes you lethargic, it makes you lazy, it masks your reality, and problems that you might have start to go to the back of your head. Like I say, your reality is masked, you're not thinking straight. So a lot of those issues you have go to the back of the head, you're masking it. Nicotine, now this is quite a big one for me because I'm actually, as of now, 10 or 11 days off of it, which is brilliant. I feel amazing. I feel like I've opened up a new avenue in my brain as such, but obviously it's not new, it was always there, it was just constantly clouded. And I think especially this point is important with the rise of snus, or oral nicotine pouches, which is something I've done before. And with the rise in it, I think there's not much education on what comes with it and how bad they are. Now, in these pouches, you are getting a quick, sharp hit of nicotine, and what that means is a quick, sharp hit of dopamine straight to your brain. Now, like any other substance, what goes up must come down. The other thing is they are very, very addictive. Very addictive. Like once you get onto them, you might start with a few, and then you go to 10 a day, and then you get to a point where you're like doing a box a day. Now that is just terrible for your brain, for your baseline level of happiness, motivation, joy, all of these things. And this is what I found from experience, especially when you quit them, like 2, 3, 4 days after quitting, you start to get these weird feelings of euphoria. And what that is your baseline starting to come back up again a little bit, I guess. So there's a lot of spikes and crashes. It lowers your baseline mood, your joy, and your motivation. Now, where the problem lies with that is when you're off of them, you start to find minimal joy in anything, or find any excitement in anything. If you do these and then you ever come to a project or something that you usually enjoy or do, and you're thinking, I just don't feel any passion for this, or I don't feel any passion or oomph for life in general, you can credit a lot of it to that, because your baseline level of happiness, joy, motivation is just in the gutter. It's in the gutter. And I don't think enough is said about it. I have seen a couple of videos on this stuff, but there's not a lot out there. So I would say if you're doing those, stop. Now, vaping is the same. It's a lot less quick in terms of getting it in your system, and I would say it's potentially less addictive, although it is still addictive. But the flip side being it affects your lungs a lot. But both of them are bad, so I would say if you can cut that out, nicotine, honestly, after like 7, 8, 9 days, you'll feel like a new person. Especially if, like me, you've always had some sort of substance or stimulant that you've used. Not like excessively, well, at times excessively, but what I mean is like not a dependency. Well, I guess at times it is a dependency. What I'm trying to say is I wasn't too crazy with it. I wasn't like an addict or anything. Just normal, how normal people use it. But if you can cut it out, your life changes. And that's what I've found over the last 10 days. Like, I feel like a complete new man. And some other things build into that, which is one of my other points, which is training. Now, I have been training pretty consistently and regularly for probably about 2.5 years now, but there have been purple patches, and there have been moments where I fell out of my routine of going early in the morning before work. I would start to miss days. I would start to pick evenings over mornings. I would have weeks where I'd only go 3 times as opposed to 6 or 7. Now, these things all merge together. Once you get off the substances, the training part becomes a lot easier. So you can see how everything starts to gradually get better as you merge them all together. So for me, training over the last 10 days where I've been off the nicotine has just been 10 times better. Not only in my energy levels, but in terms of my discipline, my willpower. Like, I've been every morning at 5 a.m. like I was before, and I haven't missed one, and that's for probably 9 or 10 days now. It's amazing, and I think it goes to show how when people say all your small habits add up, it's so true, because they start to compound together, and when you're doing the right things in the right places, everything gets better together. Reminds me, I need to read that James Clear book. I've had it on my desk for forever. I've not read it because I'm still stuck on other books, but I need to read that book because it's mainly about habits and that type of thing. Now, the third one I want to come on to is mindset and gratitude, or gratitude mindset. Your inner landscape, your inner thoughts. And this is something that, again, I talk from experience on, because previously I had a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of overthinking, a lot of ruminating. Now, I'm not saying that I'm past that, but what I'm saying is, since cutting out these things, the substances we talked about, improving training, again, it's compounding, it's all merging together, and I'm finding that these things are easier. And it's pretty obvious, really, isn't it? When you take away all the chemical, artificial dopamine out of your brain, there's more room and there's more space to have that gratitude mindset, to slow down and think, what am I grateful for? In the moments where you start to feel good, you start to feel a bit euphoric because this stuff's coming out of your system, now you can think, whoa, I am a bit grateful. I am grateful for everything I have in my life. You go for a walk outside. This came to me when I was on a walk. I had this exact thought when I was on a walk. I've been going on these walks, and they're much better than they were before, now that I'm off these substances. Why is that? It's because my brain is fixing itself, and I'm getting those bits of euphoria as well, because where I had all that substance in my system and now my brain's repairing, it's showing me again where my baseline level of joy is. So I'm on these walks, I'm just looking around at nature, looking at the trees, breathing in, like focusing on my breathing. And I'm just looking around like I'm so grateful, like thinking of all the things I'm grateful for. Like, it's a mad feeling, and that's why I would definitely recommend getting off these things that I've discussed before. Because when you build in getting off substances, training all the time, and then I just went for that walk, and I was just like, wow, like, I am grateful, and I've got so much good in my life and so much right in my life, and it made me feel stupid for all them times I was discontent and thinking, oh, my life's shit because I haven't done this or achieved that. It's a complete wrong mindset, and now I've flipped it to an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset, and that's what you guys need to try and do. But like I said, this all becomes easier when you're doing the other things, cutting out the substances and doing the training. So talked about my gratitude, walk, nature, breathing, speaking out all the things you're grateful for, positive self-talk. That's going to make life so much better. They say that if you can control your thoughts, you can control your reality. And that's another thing I want to say about the negative self-talk. Be careful about the things you're saying in your own head. Be careful about the things you're saying to yourself about yourself. Like, I'm not good at this because of this in my past. I can't do this because it's not in my personality or my character. That's when you're going to start to believe it, and it's going to start to feel like that's actually true. We've got to remember that Our thoughts are not reality. They're just things we're constructing in our mind. So don't be bogged down by that. Don't let yourself believe that that's real. We have like so many numbers of thoughts a day, and a lot of them are coming there from past traumas or past experiences. As humans, we're naturally trying to protect ourselves. It's in our nature. So have a little think, and this is why it's key to be still and take moments to be still, meditate, calm, etc. Because it allows you to sit there and think, do I actually believe that thought? Or am I just in a habit of saying that to myself? So, gratitude mindset, inner landscape, positive thoughts, no negative self-talk. And like I said, again, these things all come together. It's going to be difficult to do that if you're caught up in a cycle of addiction, or if you're not training. These things all merge together, and we can go into how it merges into other things in another video, maybe like relationships, finances, like all of these things merge together. And the key cornerstone of that is discipline, which I talk a lot about, and I think I will continue to talk a lot about because it's real to my journey. It's real to my journey as I've progressed through the ages. If you look at all these things I've been discussing, I've been bad at all of them at one point. So like I say, I talk from experience, not preaching, and to try and help people. So, as the title says, do these 3 things before your life falls apart. And what I really mean by that is, not that I want to scaremonger about your life falling apart, but fix these things before you tell yourself that your life isn't good, before you tell yourself that you're depressed, before you make drastic life changes. Because when I say I talk from experience, I've found it to be quite enlightening, the fact that it's actually quite simple when you boil it down. If you do all these simple things well, you cut out all these things that you know are not good, you commit to training because you know it is good. It doesn't have to be the gym, it can be running, it can be swimming, it can be anything. Pilates if you're a girl. And then the mindset stuff. If we can do all these simple things very well, all of a sudden all your big hyper life problems become not as bad as you thought they were. You actually come back down to reality. You've got no artificial substances affecting your system, affecting your dopamine, and you can come back down for a minute and think, hold on a minute, things aren't that bad. I'm actually grateful for this. My brain's repairing itself. I can get back on with my life again. I'm not tied down by this substance or this thing that I need all the time. I need to smoke it, or I need to put it on my gum, or you're just back to life, back to your normal baseline joy. And that's where we need to get. There's too many people that are stuck on these things these days, and we wonder why everyone's so depressed and why this generation feels so different to others. All this stuff's too accessible. Too accessible. The nicotine epidemic is going crazy, and I think these snus, the oral pouches, are just the next thing. The next craze. And without getting too conspiracy about it, it's controlling, because if everyone's using them all the time and then no passion, no joy, then they're just gonna stick in their routines and their same old things that they're used to in their job, and they're never going to strive for more. So I'm not going to go into a rabbit hole about the control, but I'm just saying, if you come off all these things, you feel lighter, your headspace clears, there's no more artificial dopamine spiking, your baseline is better, you're not low mood, low motivation, and these things are obviously going to filter into everyday life and improve things for you. So please try these things before you get too worked up, before you tell yourself your life's over, before you start feeling too depressed, because trust me, these simple things are going to help you out a lot. I hope it can help you guys, especially someone younger, to try and realise this before they get to an older age, because trust me, I know your 20s, people say it's for enjoying and whatnot, but maybe if people were educated a bit more and told, be a bit more disciplined, and don't think, oh, I'm in my 20s, so I'll just do these things anyway. I'll just smoke weed, I'll just go on nicotine, I'll just drink alcohol excessively. Maybe if there was a bit more education that way, then people would get a bit more ahead in life. before they get to their 30s, and then realise it when they're about to start settling down, having families, and they're already quite far into their life. So my only aim is to help people with that video we just been through. So I hope it's helped some people. If it has helped you, drop a little comment below. Maybe tell us a little story about your similar experiences with this, how you had an addiction and now you feel much better, or maybe not even an addiction, but how you used some of these substances and now you feel much better. Or even just give your viewpoint in the comments. Maybe I'm talking shit, maybe you can do these things and live a happy life. I'm sure you can, but moderation being key. So yeah, just drop your views in the comments and I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this video and you want more insights like this, make sure you drop a subscribe. It's completely free and it helps the channel. Other than that, I hope everyone's blessed, doing well, chasing their goals, striving, living a good life, having good relationships, and I will see you guys on the next video.